a minute early. Alrighty. I'm just getting ready here. Let's see what there is. Alright, I'm just... For everyone who's just joined the stream, I'm just getting ready real quick. Alright, here we go. Actually, hold up. I'm gonna do something real quick. Hello there, MLEQ8ZU. Can we debate? Yeah, we can debate. Wait, hold on. Uh... Give me a minute here. Hi there. Do you think if you slash... Never mind. Let me... It's fine. It's fine. you know, I was primarily going to how I do these debates generally is usually I will go on a Roblox and make a debate room because Roblox has the most amount of people in it. That's how I'm usually able to get a lot of people. But for those who just joined, this is usually the game that I play on. Welcome, Cat with Top Hat 1. I do not know what that means. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. I would like to learn Spanish at some point, though. But I'm gonna create the room again. Bro, your brain dead? Damn. Yeah, that's the game I play on, and I'm gonna create a new server. It means you're farting. Okay, cool. What? Ew. Why would you type that? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna create the new room. And I'm here again. I'm gonna make the timer like 6 minutes, maybe. That should be good. And okay. Guys, the 6-7 meme isn't even funny. Anyways, um I'm just waiting for people to join. But since Roblox can hear me, I'm gonna have to filter myself like usual. But yeah. Here's a hint, it's funny if it's not. Come on, really? I'm just waiting at the moment. Bro, he is always the first person to come. Hello, how are you doing again?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, because you host them at 22 of my time of Polish time, and that's when I join this game before I go to sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I started getting a new schedule in for my streams where I'll usually stream it at around 3 in the afternoon, my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to debate?
I mean, we've debated about a lot of things. So how about we go full circle
Have
and
you read Ted Kaczynski?
have I read the thing? Unfortunately, no, I didn't. I've been.
I told you to.
I know it's the thing is I am kind of I kind of have a life outside of this as well. So
That's boring.
I
You
wow
should be
yeah
online 24/7,
I know it's so boring, isn't it? I know
like a real patriot.
I'm such a boring person.
Where is the timer going?
uh oh I actually don't know. Um what how about we debate? How about we come full circle and debate about the fascism thing again?
Okay. You can try to claim that it's bad or something.
Yeah. So do you know a again the question I want to ask is like again I just want to clarify you're against freedom of speech, right?
Um, I'm against speech that is harmful to the state.
Eh, and what is harmful to the state? Like, what do you consider harmful to the state?
Well, for example, let's say that you are in Mussolini's Italy, and
Mm-hmm.
you go around and say, "We need a revolution. We
That
need to, we need, we need to overthrow the government with a revolution."
okay?
That's an example.
That's an example. So, how far would you push this? Would you push this to like criticizing the leader?
Mm, how? Okay. How criticizing how?
Like saying the leader is corrupt, they're not in the interest of the people, and that they're pretty much a tyrant.
Yeah, that's gonna harm the cult of personality. Is very important.
You believe in a cult of personality.
I think it's beneficial for the state. Yeah, if you have like a central figure that has all the authority and all the praise, if they're a good person, if they're a good leader, I think it's very beneficial, and you can get a lot of people on board.
Okay, what if the leader was actually like? being a dictator and being like not a great person in general.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, but that's usually what happens with fascist dictatorships, no?
That's not. I disagree. I think. I mean, every single. I only count Mussolini and Franco as fascist leaders. They were very successful in the internal affairs, and they were very liked.
No, not really.
What do you mean, not really?
Well, first of all, the Italians themselves, they literally revolted against Mussolini. And also uh
Okay,
Franco.
let me clarify. Mussolini was a good leader until 1939.
Oh, okay.
Because
And
then he
that
screwed
does
up with the World War
does
II.
that still mean that he's a good leader?
Well, if he fixed the country from 1922 to 1939, and he rallied the people, and he was a great leader, you have to give him some credit. Just because I mean, he failed. He sucks at war, but when it comes to internal affairs, that's why I said at the beginning.
What?
I talked about internal affairs.
Okay. So your argument is give them some credit if they were successful for a short period of time.
No, that's not what I said. I said that both fascist leaders were successful in internal affairs. One of them was terrible at war, and one of them was good at war.
Okay. You do know how many people were unalived in both regimes, though, right?
Less than what America killed.
Okay,
You know, I
I'll
would
give you some
say,
credit there because they weren't long-lived regimes, right? Especially Italy.
hold on, let me Google something. Hiroshima and Nagasaki death toll. Yeah, I would make a claim that the USA killed more people by dropping two bombs than the fascists ever killed.
Well, no, because you have to bring in Germany into the equation as well because they were also fascist.
No, you don't.
They
No, they
they
were
they're
National Social. I can even quote you. I can quote you something. I have Goebbels
I mean,
on the
I'm
difference
definitely not
between.
saying that, you know, dropping a bomb on people is good either. Like that's obviously bad.
Yes, yes, but my claim is that fascism and national socialism is different. It's a very very common misconception to just throw them together. I can quote you something. I sent it to my friend a few minutes ago, so it's a cool coincidence that I can quote it. It's a document. Goebbels on the difference between fascism and National Socialism. Fascism is nothing like National Socialism, while the latter goes deep down to the roots. Fascism is only a superficial thing. The Duce is not a revolutionary like the Führer or Stalin. He is so bound to his own Italian people that he lacks the broad qualities of a worldwide revolutionary and insurrectionist. Himmler expressed the same opinion in a speech delivered in 1943 at a
So
conference of
you're
commanding
trusting
officers.
actual World War II Germans.
Um, Fascism and National Socialism are fundamentally different things. There is absolutely no comparison between fascism and
It's
National
it's
Socialism
it's
as spiritual ideological movements.
okay. It's like saying socialism, and communism are different, but they're quite similar, aren't they?
Yeah, they're similar. I mean, socialism didn't kill 100 million people,
Well, I would
but
argue
communism
both
did.
of them equally did because they're both kind of in the same group. But we ran out of
They're
time.
similar.
Yeah.
Okay,
But thank you for coming up. I'm gonna bring up Bruh.
thanks.
I'm gonna bring up Bruh. How are you doing? Hello. Hello? Are you there? He's speaking. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try this real quick. Hello? Your voice is forbidden to those with high IQ. I know what you were trying to do there, and you really did a really terrible attempt because you are suggesting that I actually have high IQ because you're saying that because your voice is forbidden to those who have high IQ, you're saying that I have high IQ. So, like, a high IQ means that you're smarter. Not always. Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring up I'm gonna bring up I'm gonna bring up what? How are you doing today?
Yo,
Hi.
I'm great, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. What do you want to debate about?
I was just waiting for the sniper shot, man.
And what's the context?
Charlie.
I hate to be the one, but I think you're like an entire month and a half too late. But
No, I'm just waiting for the sniper shot, bro. Like, yeah, maybe you're the next one, bro.
oh, I'm the next one. So you're threatening me.
No, I'm not threatening you. I'm just waiting.
And why are you waiting for me to be next? Exactly.
Oh hell no, bro. What am I doing, bro? Enjoy your day, bro. I don't know what time it is. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
God bless.
See ya. Okay then. I'm gonna bring I'm gonna bring Pajit back up for the meanwhile.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so my claim is that there are different ideologies. Even the Nazis themselves claim that they're different.
Okay, but the difference is really like the difference between socialism and communism. There really is barely any.
Well, the difference, the problems of Nazism are the differences between Nazism and fascism.
Okay. So you're claiming that Germany back in the 1930s was not okay. You got voice banned, everybody. He's gonna return on an alt. Looks like this guy has a ton of alts, alt accounts.
Hello?
Hello, welcome back. I think you got banned because you mentioned the we'll call them uh
The n- uh, Soxies. The DNS. NS.
yeah, NS, we'll call them NS.
Yes. So yeah, what was I?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, are you arguing that the Germans in the 1930s were not NS or sorry, not fascist?
Yeah, I think they weren't. I think it's they're grouped the same for the sake of convenience. And I also believe that the word fascist is being overused as just to call people evil. And it's just a synonym for evil, so they had to like tie it to NS. I think
Okay.
that's a misconception.
Well,
I don't agree with it.
let's
Because you
quickly
can
look up the word
hold on,
real quick,
you
fascist.
can look up you can look up the doctrine of fascism by Giovanni Gentile, and it's nothing like NS. It's entirely different. And you can check the mainstream definition, but politologists disagree whether, and I think many disagree because of the personal bias they have. A person that is like against right wing whatever has um, has motives to has an interest in grouping them together to portray them as both as evil and whatever. But that's my claim basically, that they're different.
Okay. I'm just going to search up the literal definition of fascism
Okay.
just quickly. If
What
my if my
what are you
browser
using?
will Merriam-Webster.
Okay.
This is taking a long time. Okay, there we go. A populist political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as that of the fascisti, that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that is associated with
Yeah,
a
I disagree with
centralized.
that.
You disagree with that? Okay,
That's
so what would your definition be?
I
Because
disagree. I disagree with the race part, and I think that fascism is. I mean, Mussolini and Giovanni Gentile outright defined what fascism is as the inventors of the concept of fascism. They gave a definition and they gave a doctrine. So you cannot say, well, different things are similar to it, so they're basically the same thing. That's just disingenuous. I disagree with it. It's mainstream. My opinion is not popular. My opinion is not
okay, well,
widespread.
I mean,
But that's because the majority of people just equal fascism to something bad or evil. And
well, yeah, I definitely think that removing free speech is bad for sure. So
okay, but at least we both agree that gassing people is bad.
yeah, we both agree with that. What's your point?
That people are throwing both of these things together, and I disagree with it.
Okay, well, you would be disagreeing with the literal English dictionary. So,
Well, you're disagreeing with the original definition of fascism made by the inventors of fascism.
okay, so did the
And
inventor?
also, I want to interject that this is appeal to authority. You have to look at the original definition and the original doctrine. You cannot just say, well, the Americans at the Merriam-Webster dictionary said this, therefore it's true.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring up Alex. For the meanwhile, thank you for coming up again. Um,
Thanks.
I hope you have a good day. Um, Alex, you're up next. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm alright.
Okay. What do you want to debate about?
Like, what are your opinions on certain topics, or do I tell you like what side to be on?
Well, I mean, I would say that I'm a liberal.
Oh, I'm a liberal too. Okay, then we agree.
Okay.
Okay, wait, let me think. Let me think. Okay, you know what? I think how left leaning are you?
I would say center left, which is pretty much liberal, like the general definition of liberal.
Okay, do you think Kamala Harris was the ideal candidate for the Democratic Party?
Um, not the most ideal, but she was definitely not a bad candidate either.
Okay, so do you think that she should run for the 2028 election, or should we get someone new?
Um, I mean, if Bernie Sanders isn't going to run, then certainly Kamala Harris would be the second best option, in my opinion.
Okay, so I have a question. What are your opinions on Kamala Harris's take on Palestine?
Don't necessarily agree with it. I didn't read much on it, but the last time I
Mhm.
do remember reading on it, she was mostly in opposition to.
She is neutral now, but to my understanding, she was pretty pro-Israel during her campaign.
Yeah.
And are you pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, or you just are neutral?
I'm neutral. I don't like it when countries do bad things. Uh, Certainly Palestine, especially the group that I can't say, did some very bad stuff. I won't deny that. I don't like it when people deny that, but I don't think that gives Israel a right to literally do mass gen to an entire population.
Okay, well, I agree with you on all this. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to think of a topic we disagree on. Hold on. Do you have any like hot takes as a leftist?
I mean, the most the most common disagreement that I seem to have with people is well, generally I don't think we should be doing mass deportation. But the thing that most people disagree with usually is that I believe that we should be giving undocumented migrants who don't have a violent criminal background a easier pathway to citizenship. That we should document them instead of mass deporting them.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on everything.
Okay.
This is unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate, but I think this is pretty anticlimactic. I apologize.
It's fine. Um,
Oh, wait. Actually, I do think there's one thing I disagree. What are your opinions on the death penalty?
that's a really good question because I don't have a solid opinion on it. I'm
Uh-huh.
on the fence of disagreeing with it, but in other cases, I feel like it would be justified.
Could you go into specifics?
Doing not so great things with you know what I'm talking about. I can't mention on Roblox,
Mm-hmm.
for example. I'm actually
Wait, so my question is, do you think that like being jailed for life is enough? Or do you think it should be
well, I mean, that's definitely a viable option. I'm actually gonna change the name to Debate Me Liberal.
perfect? Because honestly, judging by your avatar and the red tie, I thought you were conservative.
Yeah, no, I just like suits. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna let the next person on because I really don't have anything to debate
Yeah.
you about. But
I hope you have
you
a really good day. I'm gonna bring up Riri. Welcome up. How are you doing today?
Not very good.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What happened?
I am pissed off.
I think you might get in trouble with Roblox for saying that, but I mean, what happened?
I don't do anything. It is a very long story and one I do not feel like explaining.
Fair enough. I won't force you to explain anything. But I do hope your day gets better. What do you want to debate about?
What I want to debate about is like the best snack to bring to a sleepover.
Ooh, okay. Well, it's not political, but I can debate about that because I haven't really gotten much people today. Uh, so I'll entertain this for just for a little bit. What platform are you streaming? YouTube. It should be linked on my Roblox avatar.
Yeah. First of all, I want to friend you. You cool. You might be able to help me out in the future, just in case I get really stressed.
But anyways,
yeah. We're going to the debate topic.
So yeah, what is the best snack to bring to a sleepover? That's a really good question. It's not political, but I'll entertain it anyway. In my opinion, that is a really good because there's a lot. Honestly, there's a lot to choose from. But if I had to choose one specifically, like
Yeah, like what specific snack? What snack would you bring?
does it have to be like a name brand snack, like Doritos or
It could be anything, as
anything?
long as it's like not fruit.
Okay,
As
as
long
l-
as it's like, not fruit
as long as it's not fruit, that's a fair thing. All right.
or vegetables or anything
Yeah.
that is good for you, like junk snacks, like Doritos, Pringles. Yeah.
I would say my most likely answer would probably be I had to think for a little bit. I'm conflicted between uh honestly, I am really scared to say the name of it because I feel like it would get me banned, but it starts with an S.
Tell it letter by letter.
SNICK ERS.
Snickers.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Either that I got a warning just for spelling it out to begin with. What the heck, man?
Yeah, I got really mad at one of my other friends, and I'm trying to just calm myself down, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go see if there's any therapy servers.
Yeah.
And then I hop into this server, and this is so far calming me down.
I'm glad about that. But yeah, I would either bring that or Cool Ranch Doritos.
I the Dorito flavors I prefer are the red ones. If I had to choose like something to bring, I would probably bring Pringles. It would either be that. It would have to be that or the spicy Doritos.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, like the really spicy ones in the purple packet.
Okay. Fair choice.
Yeah, I just really need some anger management. I'm really easy to anger. Like, okay, imagine this. We're just talking like we are now. And then you say something I really don't like, and then we start to argue. Whenever I get really angry, I have like 3 stages. The first one is where I start to raise my voice a little. Then I start to say curse words, and then I be racist and say the N word.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, those are my 3 stages of madness. And so far, no one has actually figured out how many stages I actually have. Because they've only seen me up to stage 3, that's when they get really scared. And they actually start to agree with me. Because I actually have 5 stages. So the first one is obviously the same. Then the second one is where I start to raise my voice a lot more. That's a stage. Then my voice raises to the point of shouting. Then the final 2 stages come.
Yeah, I definitely think you might need some anger management, it sounds like.
Yeah, I definitely do need some anger management.
I mean, I definitely understand though. I kind of have problems with that as well. I've been getting better at that though, which is why I do these political debate stuff.
Yeah, I've kind of been wanting some people to actually join my server because whenever I'm playing this game and I make a server, no one joins, and whoever does join immediately leaves. Another thing that happens is whenever the owner, like the person who made the server leaves, and I become the guy, everyone just immediately leaves. Like everyone just dots to another server, and I don't know why that is. And
Hmm.
that makes me really, really angry.
That's sad.
If you have been watching a lot of Roblox YouTubers, you'll know some of them actually have made a video on a game called FNAF Tower Defense 2.
Hmm.
Yeah, everyone's been hyped up about that game for really long.
Okay.
Because they announced it a long time ago, and everyone's been hyped up about the game.
All right.
Yeah. Another debate I have about, and this depends on what kind of character, like, what is your favorite FNAF character? For me, I'm dressed up with that character with a fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably like Foxy or something. I don't know.
I mean, Foxy is actually kind of overused, which is why he's my second favorite.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's always the fan favorite. None of the other characters get much attention. The only ones who get much attention are the Foxy variants and the Balloon Boys because they work alongside Withered Foxy. Because literally, the original Balloon Boy works alongside Withered Foxy in FNAF 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I have to talk about. I'm probably gonna go to a different server.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
Bye. We got. Oh, okay. You left anyway. I'm gonna bring up Pajit back.
I'm not a Pajit anymore.
Well, that's what I remember you by, and I don't want to call you by the name.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, it's there's different ideologies.
Okay. Well, hold on. If I had my iPad on me, this would be really, really handy. Hold on. Just give me a minute. I'm gonna.
You Americans have so many, how would you call this? Material goods. Do you know about I think it's called consumptionism? Consumerism. Oh, consumer. Do you know about
Consumerism. Yeah, consumerism.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold
What do
on.
you think about it?
I mean, before I give my opinion on it, I am gonna get my iPad real quick. Just give me 1 minute. Because my computer is so slow, and whenever I try to search up anything, it's like my computer is about to die. So I'm just gonna give me a minute here. Okay. I mean, my opinion on it, I don't have, like, I guess on one hand it can be a good thing, but on the other it could be a bad thing. Because there's good and bad to everything, right? We can agree on that.
Hold on, say it again.
Yeah, so my opinion on consumerism, I don't have a set opinion on it because there's good and bad to both of them, because I mean there's good and bad to everything. We can agree on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I mean the good things that comes from consumerism is you can have like actual things that are really, really helpful. For example, a phone can be really useful because you want to talk to someone without having to go to them. You can also like look up where to go. Like you can literally just look up information on the internet nowadays, right?
Yes, yes.
But then there's also bad things for it. For example, like there's a bad side of it. Like for example, you can get easily scammed. For example, that's
Yeah, if you read the Kaczynski thing, he said that consumerism is a very unhealthy lifestyle and it leads to mental issues because you keep buying stuff for for you to enjoy life. You have to constantly buy things you do not necessarily need, and you never feel satisfied from it. And it's a very unhealthy lifestyle for many people, and they get mental issues from it. Anyway, what do you wanna debate? This one or the last topic?
um. Well, I mean, what's your opinion on like immigration? I guess.
Um, I mean, I believe in nation states, but you Americans do not have a nation per se, because it's not like, there was a group of American people and they made America. It's settlers and immigrants and stuff. But I know for Poland, I don't want Poland to change in national composition.
Okay. And I mean, I'm not gonna say that Poland has to be this or that. Like Poland could be whatever it wants. I'm mainly coming at this from the perspective of just any country, really. Like, I'm mostly coming at this from the perspective of an American, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, America was built on immigration. Poland wasn't. So there's differences
yeah, that is true.
in the ways you look at this topic from.
But I mean, I guess my question would be: should we, like, for example, let's use the current Russia-Ukraine war, right? Uh,
Yes.
Poland literally borders Ukraine. On the
Yeah, we had 3 million refugees. I think it's fine because they're culturally almost identical.
okay,
They're from the same cultural zone. For example, an Ukrainian is gonna be very similar to a Polish person and a Somalian. But also, I think when the war ends, they should go back to Ukraine.
okay, that's an interesting perspective. I mean,
I don't see issues with them. They don't commit crime at a higher rate.
yeah, I mean, I would say that immigrants don't really commit that much crime to begin with.
Depends on the policy.
Depends on policy. Well, I mean, what do you mean by that?
Well, if your immigration policy is just getting educated people with, papers into the country, then of course they're not going to commit crime. But if your immigration is policy, anyone who wants to come can come, especially from sub-Saharan Africa, then you're going to have, crime problems.
Okay. Uh, well, I mean, let me give you this statistic. This is a true statistic that comes from an independent research organization that has been researching into immigration for the past at least 80 years or so. According to PNAS.org, undocumented migrants in the United States are less likely to commit crimes than natural-born U.S. citizens.
Okay. I mean, they already committed a crime by coming here illegally.
Well, when it comes to crime, I mainly am more concerned with like violent crime, right? In my personal opinion.
Okay. Okay, maybe it's true. I know. My problem with immigration is also just that I want my country to remain within its culture and within it's a nation state, right?
Yeah, which I mean, I don't have necessarily a problem with. It's not my country. Poland's not my country. Like ethnically, I am like half Polish. However, I wasn't born in Poland. I don't know anything about Polish culture, right? I don't even know their language. So
It's Polish.
yeah, well, I know what the name of the language is. I don't know how to speak it.
Okay.
But anyways, like I'm not. Okay, there's just someone flying around that's distracting me. Like
That's Luke.
like I'm not going to be focusing on other countries' politics, because I more so specialize in American politics, right? So I would say from the context of American politics, I don't think immigration is a bad thing, and in fact,
I would agree with American. Yeah.
yeah, because in my opinion, immigrants help contribute to our society.
How?
How? Um, well, they do a lot of jobs. They create a lot of jobs when they're documented.
Yeah, but you mean like it increases GDP?
I would say so, yeah. When they're documented, they do increase GDP because we have a higher population. When we have a higher population, our economy grows
Yeah,
a
I
bit more.
always felt like the argument that immigrants increase GDP is a bad one.
I mean,
'cause
last year they literally
really
paid
matter-
$100 billion in taxes last year, which if they were
what
documented,
really matter?
if they were documented citizens, that would also I do not know how he's doing that, Dr. Money. But anyways,
Hold on, I was trying to finish. What really matters is the GDP per capita, in my opinion, than just GDP overall. Because your life doesn't get better because the number is higher.
okay, but if we need more industries because of a higher population, that's going to create more jobs, which create more GDP growth.
Yes, but that doesn't really disagree with what I said.
Okay. And again, I don't claim to be like I don't claim to be the smartest person ever. I don't know too much about economy. I only know the basics, but from what I've seen, immigrants, like I'm not saying undocumented immigrants, I'm saying immigrants in general, they contribute a lot to the economy. But for now,
Yes, yeah. I mean, yes, the GDP number increases, but that doesn't really change the quality of the life of the average citizen just because the number gets higher. What matters is GDP per capita, and I don't think immigrants increase it.
okay. Well,
I would say that immigrants might decrease GDP per capita because they're willing to work for less money, so they lower wages basically.
okay. Well, the timer's ended. I'll talk to you another time. Thank you for coming up again. I'm gonna bring up Caleb. I've seen you before.
Yo, do you remember me?
I remember you.
You have
Yes.
seen me before. All right, let's have an abortion debate.
Yes. I would call it by AB because I've gotten in trouble for saying the full word before.
I've never gotten in trouble for saying abortion, but what's your take on abortion? I'm gonna guess you're pro-choice.
Yeah, I'm pro-choice.
Ugh. Okay. Give me your why do you think abortion is justified?
Yeah. So, in my opinion, like I didn't even speak. I didn't even get to speak.
Bro, I already know you're gonna make a bad take, so I was pre-frying the tomato.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, you really did have that stuff ready. Anyways.
Can you make your point?
I'm trying to. I have a hard time.
Can we ban this guy?
I literally am the creator. the room, but okay.
No, I know. I mean, like ban the guy flying around. Look, he's giving, bro.
I'll kick him. See if that helps.
I know him. He's actually in a Discord server with me right now. I just want him to shut up. All right.
But yeah,
It's taking you about 30 seconds to form.
yeah, I know. Sorry about that. It's just a lot of things are distracting me. But the reason I don't like the idea of AB, if that makes sense, but I'm not going to restrict the access of it either, for a multitude of reasons. One of the major reasons being, you know, what if, for example, and oh my gosh.
What ifs are really bad arguments.
So, what if a woman, I forgot to start the timer. What if a woman is SA'd?
That's 0.5% of abortions. Every single one is that makes it about 0.5%.
That's still a lot of people. You want to know the statistics on that? Let's take the population of the United States, which is roughly 300 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Divide that in half. That is roughly how many women we have in the country,
Okay.
which would be about 150 million. Now,
Then divide that in half by about 25 more times. I mean, the number of people who get it just as a form of birth control is really
can I finish?
in abortions. Sure.
Okay. If I remember correctly, the statistics on SA without the baby, is, I think it's 1 in 25. Is it 1 in 25? No, 1 in 4. That was for the pregnancy.
Mm.
So 1 in 5 women are SA'd on average.
Right, and I do want to make sure you know where I'm coming from. I think SA is not a good excuse for abortion, but I'll let you keep making your point.
Okay. I'm gonna finish my point. So, divide 150 million by 20, or no, not by 20, by 5.
There's 1.04 million abortions a year
Okay. So,
in America.
yeah.
Yeah, so that mean there's 5,000 abortions a year that are killing innocent beings that didn't choose to get SA'd into a conception. The other, it's that 1.74% is in health complications, and then the other about 98% is just because they don't want the baby. I think that 2 of those are bad excuses. I think if you're gonna die, yes, clearly get an abortion, because if you die, so does the baby. And the only time that it's not okay to get an abortion if your life is at risk is if if you can get a C-section. But if you're gonna die during labor, yeah, C-section. But if you're just gonna die carrying the baby, like you don't have a strong enough back, your back will give out. You'll have a prolapse. Then yeah, of course,
Okay.
you get the abortion, because if you die, so does
So
but in the case of like
150
SA
million
or
divided
incest,
by 5 is 30 million, and roughly 1 in every 20 SAs usually results in a pregnancy. So divide that
Okay,
by
so
20.
I already gave you the number. I looked up.
You get
5,000.
Yeah, you get 1.5 million women.
Are you trying to tell me that 1.5 million women get SA'd a day? Wait, a year or a day?
SA.
Whoa. In a year or a day?
I think it's in in their lifetime, I believe, is the statistic.
Oh. Okay. In a year, there's about 400,000 women who get assaulted annually. Those are just accusations. These have nothing to do with incarcerations. Age 15-19. Yeah, so your numbers are off. It's about 432,000 get SA'd annually.
I'm not saying
I still
annually.
think-
I'm saying in a woman's lifetime.
Yeah. Okay. Well, once again, that's still not a good excuse for abortion.
So how is SA not a good excuse for an AB? Because you're
Okay, Ramshu, one person in this room was conceived in SA. Can you tell me which one it is?
Wait, what's your question again?
Imagine that somebody in here, shut up, Luke, was conceived through grape. Can you tell me which one it is?
Uh,
No, you can't, because everybody in here has the same moral worth. The zygote did not choose to be conceived. It's an innocent life.
what's
with
your
innocent
wait?
life with
What's your
human
point
DNA.
here?
It is a human. It's my point is that I value human life. I value human life, no matter how big, no matter how small, and how it got here.
Okay, so you would make a woman's life way harder on herself by forcing her to literally carry something that she didn't even consent to.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think two evils make a right, Ramsey. I think.
I think that's actually
is
two evils.
evil.
Actually,
And I think abortion is actually evil. So when you,
in my
when you're
opinion,
killing a
forcing
baby,
someone to carry something is evil.
when you're taking in my opinion, taking a human life is evil.
Okay, so would you argue the same thing if a person? Would you argue the same thing if someone was holding you at, if someone was literally like threatening your life and robbing your house?
Oh, then they wouldn't be innocent. No, they wouldn't be innocent. But a baby is innocent.
Okay, it's a beatus. It is not a baby, it's a
I mean,
beatus.
you kind of made it. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I guess technically it's still a human life. I simple it down by calling it a baby.
I do not believe it
Well,
has
it's a
human value, in my opinion. I don't believe
Why?
it's
Can we
not
waste some
it's
time?
not conscious. It literally is not
Why do you
conscious.
value consciousness? Why do you value consciousness? Listen, Ramsey, what if somebody's in a vegetative state or sleep wakefulness syndrome? Basically, they can blink, they can wake up, they move, they have motor functions. It's just like it's like, compare it to like an animal or like a dog or something. I guess a dog would be more conscious than somebody in a vegetative state, but it's just somebody who's there. Can I make a business out of people in vegetative states and sell their meat on the market so that we could have human meat and cannibalism? Can I tie it up as Mike Tyson and just beat the crap out of it? Can I skin it alive, take its feet off, eat its toenails? Because it doesn't have rights to compare to your logic, since it's not conscious and it doesn't have any value. So why can't I sell it on the marketplace as or can I use it to farm humans if it's a woman? Can I start a human farm off of one, and I could have tons of meat to use as cattle?
What are you saying?
Yeah, you're saying it doesn't have any moral value. So why can't I slaughter somebody in a vegetative state and sell their meat on the market?
That is
See,
not
it sounds disgusting.
How
right?
is
It
that
sounds
even
disgusting.
comparable? How is that even comparable?
Become a
You
conscious-
are
somebody
you
in a
are
vegetative state has no
you are
consciousness at all.
comparing. You're comparing
Somebody with
literal.
no consciousness, somebody with no consciousness. Yes.
Okay, I'm not saying to slaughter them. I'm saying, like, I don't believe it has
Oh,
a.
you are actually. You're telling them to either use a chemical weapon to kill them and starve them, or to take off their legs one by one, and then crush their head. In some cases, which is thankfully it's been banned, they don't do it anymore. But they used to snap baby spines in half and inject cyanide. You know what this sounds to me? This sounds like the same logic that a man in the 1930s in Germany had, who liked the process. I might get very saying this stuff. Eugenics. It's kind of like you're arguing for eugenics in a way.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's comparable, but the timer's already ended. Thank you
I
for.
think it's very comparable because you're arguing that consciousness. You have to have consciousness to get rights. So why do people in vegetative states have rights? Right? Why would it be wrong for me to tie them up like cattle? Tell me why.
Because they already had consciousness, Abitas doesn't even have the
can't be born vegetative states.
capability to even form consciousness yet.
Okay, so you're moving the goalposts from consciousness to present from present consciousness to past consciousness. So which one is it? What if somebody was born in a vegetative state? Do people in comas not deserve rights either?
I don't know. You're saying way too much all at once. You're saying way too much all at once. You're saying way too much all at once. I think that's the problem. You're talking too fast.
No, I think the problem is that you can't argue against it because you know you're wrong.
Okay.
Put Kai up here. Well, I guess you should let other people up here. I mean, I have
Yeah,
taken
that's
up
what
more
I
time
was.
than I
That's why
anticipated.
I'm silent, because the timer's already ended. I don't know why you.
That's exactly. Yep, I agree. That's why you're silent, buddy. Yep, great argument you had.
Well, I mean, thank you for coming up, though. I hope you have a good day. Welcome up. How are you doing today?
So I just want to say first off, you just got ran. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. I don't even
Probably
like.
because he said a
I was here
bunch
for
of stuff
probably
all
like.
at once, and I didn't even get enough time to
I mean,
actually.
he was talking about like the clipping toes and stuff like that. And it got weird. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't gonna lie. He low key dogged you for like a minute straight, bro. Thank you for banning that guy, by the way.
No problem.
So I wouldn't call myself a liberal perchance. I don't really align with any political party for the most part, and I don't really like debating abortion. Other than my take on it is just I think medically, you know, necessary abortions are right in my opinion. You know, if it's harmful to the mother or it's obvious that testings and other because you do like check-ins every couple of weeks or something like that. If a check-in shows that something may be off or something harmful with the mother or the baby, I think that's something that should be necessary. Any other case, I would just really
Oh,
can't
what about
make an
SA?
argument against. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, that should be another instance. Yeah, I forgot.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the problem with Caleb isn't necessarily that he has good points. It's necessarily that he speaks way too fast to the point where I don't even have enough time to comprehend what he's saying and be able to
Well,
formulate a
you gotta
thought.
get ready for that. You gotta get ready for that, though. I mean, people that's a strategy. I mean, that's like lawyers do that. So when it comes to debates, you gotta get ready for that. So this isn't more like a liberal thing. This is kind of more of a more broad thing. Do you believe that? And I don't think you'd align with this, but do you think that racism is still prevalent in America?
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
think that this is also you didn't start your timer?
Yeah. I definitely believe racism still exists. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think systemic racism exists?
Yes.
Okay.
ICE is an
So,
example.
I mean, yeah. There's not really much to really argue on with then, because that was kind of just like my biggest talking point. That's really the only reason I even go on this game. Is just to more or less like educate people on systemic racism because it's still a thing.
Okay, so we don't really have anything to debate about.
Do you have any? I mean, like, what's your? Do you think Trump should be impeached? I do.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Okay. I don't want to say I align as a liberal, but I guess I have more progressive slash liberal ideals. I guess because I don't think a felon should. It's not that I don't like. One, he's steering the country negatively. Two, I don't think a felon should be in office, personally. But I mean, what I know. I can't really think of anything else. Oh, LGBTQ things, stuff like that. So, I think here's something that I'd kind of disagree with a liberal. I do not believe that athletes that have, transition should be able to participate with the other sport. So, if you're a male that transitioned into female, you should not be able to participate in female sports.
Okay. That is like the biggest non-issue ever, but go on.
Yeah, I mean it's not really that big of an issue. It doesn't happen. It very, very, very rarely happens. I just think that should be
I mean, we
either
don't really
banned
have much
leagues
evidence
or.
to support nor disprove that it's a bad or good thing. So I don't.
Well, the evidence is that one, men's like tendons, ligaments, and joints are typically fuller than a female. So biologically, they move, faster. They're stronger.
Yeah, but
Your
one thing you
strongest
got to
man.
understand though is when someone goes through HRT, that's completely reversed.
But these things have still happened though. So like examples, right, are females that have played volleyball and that have transitioned over. They were like genuinely like.
Oh, you muted.
Yeah, my fault. I was trying to fix my mic and I don't want to like make a scene or noise with it. because it like unplugged. Anyways, you see these things with like athletes, unfair advantages like the extra makes you weaker, the muscle mass decreases. While yes, muscle mass decreases, your like I'm arguing tendons, ligaments, that stuff will not change. So your height advantage won't, that's not going to go anywhere. The actual like tendons in your body are still the same thickness. That's what creates a lot of your advantages in speed and strength. Of course, muscle mass plays into strength, but mostly speed and like the flexibility of your like. Well, actually, females are more flexible, but yeah.
Okay, in my personal opinion, although there's no scientific proof to back it up, because there isn't really any scientific proof to this hasn't even been researched that much, so I can't really even.
And it's such a minute thing. Like people blow it out of proportion. While I personally don't believe they should be able to participate in female sports, people blow it out of proportion so much because they bring up like instances that happened 5 years ago. Like the instance I gave you then happened 2 years ago. Like, ooh.
I guess my question would be, why should we invalidate someone's gender identity? That's my question.
I don't think it's more or less invalidating as it is, protecting other competitors, per se. I mean, when you're playing in female sports, there isn't a whole bunch of female contact sports, right? But let's think of like volleyball for an example. If you have a man that is spiking the ball with full force, let's say a male Olympian is playing on a female Olympian volleyball team, he will be the best player on that court 100% of the time, no matter what. And to have him serve, spike, on these females would be hazardous to them, in my opinion. I mean, there's been documented cases of these things being hazardous. High school sports, it was dangerous. They did it with college. I think it was UCLA had a player that was like spraining wrists trying to like uh, what is it, like just hit the ball back off a spike. These things are. There's tall cis women though. There's women who are taller, so that's not the thing. That's not my answer. That's not my thing. Of course, there's tall women. I mean, Brittany Griner's 6'10", right? But I'm arguing that a man is going to spike the ball. If you have two Olympians, one male and one woman, the man will spike the ball harder than the female, pretty much 10 times out of 10.
Okay,
And
that's a
by so
very
much
big
harder that
generalization, though, and I'm not saying that it's untrue, but are we gonna completely forget that there are women that, their main hobbies are literally working out a lot and doing sports and stuff like that?
and I'm not gonna discredit them. That's they did that through their hard work. But if you were a trans athlete transitioning, that's not through hard work. That's through biological advantages.
Okay. Uh, I mean, again, it's like not even an issue in my opinion. I don't know why it's such a big debate
And
topic, but
y- I don't think it's that big of an issue either. I literally just thought of something that I figured, hey, you might disagree with. Let's have something to argue about. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It wasn't like I don't. Truth be told, I don't care. Like vice versa. Like if you're a female that can play in men's sports, go for it. Hey, I love to see a female that can play running back in the NFL. If she can do it, go ahead do it. But I just think when there's other things like contact sports or sports that would involve, you would see that disproportionate advantage. That's kind of where I'm like, but yeah, there's tall cis women too. But I mean, if you take 100,000 women in America, only like 2 to 3 of them are actually going to be taller than the height of 6'2". So let's be real, and one of those are not going to play sports. So you're down to like one woman that's actually above the height of 6'2" that's playing sports. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I don't care. I mean, there's way more important things to be had than an instance that happened 2, 3,
Like
4, 5
fixing
years
the
ago. So.
corrupt healthcare system in America, for example.
Oh, it's disgusting the way that they do people. I saw a picture of a lady whose baby costed like $1.5 million. Also, Big Pharma. That's another talk too. So, um, So I don't. A lot of people don't know this. The Rockefeller family is what bought Big Pharma. So when you get medicine, they're petroleum based. So if you've ever looked at ingredients in your medicine, you'll notice like there's like petroleum and other stuff that involves gas. That's because the Rockefeller went in and bought Big Pharma so they could like utilize more of their oil. It's crazy. So I mean, yeah, stuff's out of this
I will
world.
have the research into that because I do not know about the specifics of that.
Yeah, so in a lot of, I won't say a lot, but in some medicines they're not like petroleum based, but they'll use, bits of petroleum in their like medicine. I don't know if it's like prescriptions or like hardcore stuff, but like it's real stuff, man. It's crazy.
I actually just thought of something that I really wished I had said uh during the whole during Caleb's turn. Um for context, we were for those who just joined. For
Debating abortion, I think.
Yeah, we were debating about AB. Um and I wasn't even able to have a proper thought because he was just speaking so fast. Like actually speaking at unnatural rates, in my opinion.
Nah, I was there. It's low key like crazy.
But from what I understand, his reason for being against AB, and I can agree that AB can definitely be a moral issue. I don't agree with the idea of AB itself. I don't like AB, but I definitely don't think it should be banned or like illegalized. Because there are some
You can't.
genuine cases where it is necessary.
That would have been my main argument against him. Is that there are some cases where it's like genuinely medically necessary.
Because
0.2%,
I could argue the same
there's
thing with
no way it's
guns.
0.2%.
I can argue the same thing. I can argue the same thing with that. I can argue that we
There's
should
no way on
that
earth.
I can argue that we
that
should
men-
make GUNs completely illegal. .99.
Look it up.
Look it up. I mean, I definitely will after the stream. Actually, I'll look it up right now. Give me a minute. Actually, according to this, 95.9% of people that answered according to the Lozier Institute, 95.9% of it wasn't even answered. They didn't even answer.
So there isn't even, first off, 99.5 doesn't even exist because that's not like a real statistic that they go for. People don't say like, hey, was your abortion medically, necessary or not? That's not a statistic that they're gonna look up. So it's like you can only get like estimates. That's not a proven fact. And first off, 99.5 doesn't align with 0.2, so your math is just wrong. Uh, and number three, there are estimates. That estimates range.
Oh my gosh, Guttmacher Institute. You do realize that is a right-wing thinking tank, right? That is not a reliable source. That is a biased source.
Still over 95%. Well, I mean, your claim that it was 99.5 is wrong, and then your claim that 0.2 of medically is also.
I was also saying 95.9% of all ABs were actually unspecified. They didn't even give a reason.
True.
But the second most common reason listed out of 2.2% of all the people um who did answer this poll by the Lozier Institute, 2.2 of those who answered said it was because of other physical health concerns. 1.2% abnormality in the baby, and 0.4% is SA or Alabama.
Okay, so still over 95%. Okay, so even if it's 95%, 5% of that, that's like 70,000, 75,000, because there's 1.15 million abortions in America last year, right? That's still around 75,000 women who medically needed it. That's not including accounts of SA or RA, or RAP. So I mean, like, let's lock in, brother. Then a lot of them are unspecified, but that's one source. That's one source that estimates 1 to 3%, right? If you're going off estimates, you want to take multiple sources and you want to like average that out between the estimates. You don't go off of just one source. Like, according to CDC, Human Life International, PMC, and Gutmacher, which are however you say it, Gutmacher,
So, according to
Macher, I don't know how
BMC
you say it.
Women's Health, 40% is because people are not financially prepared, 36% say it was not the right time, 31% say partner related reasons, 29% says need to focus on others, 20% interferes with
Wait, according
future
to
opportunities, 19%
according
not
to who?
emotionally or mentally prepared, 12% health related reasons, 12% want a better life uh, for the baby than she could provide, 7% not independent or mature enough, 5% influences from family or friends, 4% uh, don't want a baby or place baby for adoption. This is according to BMC Women's Health. Let me look at another source. Uh,
Didn't you say 12% is medically necessary?
yeah, according to BMC Women's Health.
Okay. Was that a survey or an estimate or what are we talking here?
Um, respondents gave reasons under multiple themes and sub-themes, so it's probably a
Okay,
survey.
so sounds like a survey. What was the survey amount? Do they know? Do you have a number?
I do not
Well, I know I'm being
actually
specific.
wait. Out of 954 people, so roughly 1,000.
So let's just round that up to 1,000. So rounding that up to 1,000, 12% said it was medically necessary. So that's
120 people.
120 people. So 120 people out of 1,000 said it was medically necessary.
Which
Most
is a
of them
lot.
said it wasn't their time. Yeah, most of them said it wasn't their time, or some others said they just weren't ready. Some said their partners, disagree with that. Those are all those are all for convenience. Whether or not you want to argue with that, that's not medically necessary. That's for convenience, right?
I mean, we could definitely agree with that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then they also didn't. There was no like claims of essay or rap. So we can assume some of those percentages also have to be up there. I wouldn't say it's probably too much considering, out of the actual number of cases that happens, how many of those actually lead to pregnancy, it probably only leads up to like another 3%. So you're looking at probably 15% that are medically induced or for like SA and stuff like that. Which is still, I mean, that's a lot more than 95% that you're saying is just convenience, or 99.5%, or 0.2% that you said, JDM weight lifts. So I mean, if we're just throwing out numbers here that you saw online somewhere, I mean,
I like how this turned less into a debate and more so actually doing research. According to the World Health Organization.
well, I mean, yeah, you're trying to have a debate, but you're throwing in wrong statistics that were just like so quickly, look to be, look upable. I'm not on the same side as them. I don't align with liberals. I don't think
I
they can
mean,
govern
you
this
actually
world.
seem to agree with me with a couple things though, except for the whole
I don't.
transgender and.
I didn't agree with him with trans people in sports. I'm gonna dip because I gotta go.
Okay.
What time is it? 5:30. Yeah.
Welcome back, Riri.
See if NC State. Oh my God, NC State's losing. Oh my fucking God. They can't win a game to save their life, bro.
All right. JDM, do you want to come up? All right. How are you doing today?
Doing good today. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. So I'm assuming you wanted to debate about AB.
We can debate about whatever you want, but I still based on like the Guttmacher Institute, which you say is a right wing think tank, but the CDC has also like come out and said like, hey, their stats are pretty accurate at other times as well. So you can call it a right wing think tank, but the fact that there are statistics that disagree with yours, and you had to go find other ones that disagree with mine, it's the same thing back and forth, you know.
Okay. I'm trying to find some statistics as well. Okay, this one does seem a tiny bit outdated. It's from 4 years ago, but I think it's still relatively recent. CDC. Oh yeah, this is a lot to read. I'll read this after the stream.
That's fair. We can pick a different topic if you want. I don't agree with. I'm farther. I would say I'm farther right wing than conservative.
Okay.
So.
What's your opinion on, in the context of American politics, the deportation of undocumented migrants?
Could you reword that for me, please?
Yeah, sure. People who are undocumented migrants. Do you know who they are?
Of course.
Okay.
Like illegal immigrants, yeah.
Yeah, that's another word for them. I don't like to call them illegal immigrants. I think that's humanizing.
Okay.
That's just my view though. But in the context of American politics, are you in favor of the mass deportation of undocumented migrants?
Yes.
So even people who haven't committed a violent crime?
They committed a crime by being here
Is it a
illegally.
violent crime though?
Hence the term illegal immigrants. So does that mean that if you don't commit a violent crime, you should not be punished for it? If as long as the crime's not violent, is that the stasis we're going for here?
In my personal opinion, if they haven't committed a violent crime, I don't think they should be like deported out of the country just because they had, for example,
the crime is wasting our U.S. tax dollars and wasting U.S. benefits that we pay for as taxpayers.
They're not eligible for those benefits though.
illegally.
They're not eligible for those benefits.
So you're saying they got no benefits, nothing coming here, nothing at all.
No, not really.
There's no organizations. There's like when they came here, they weren't put up in hotels. Like none of that, right? None of that happened.
No, not really.
Because that sounds like benefits to me. Really? Say it didn't happen at all. Okay.
In my opinion, like, right. So, first of all, in my opinion, what even is wrong with that? I feel like we should be documenting undocumented migrants if they haven't committed a violent crime.
What is wrong with that? Well, they're here illegally. They're here taking away opportunities.
Okay, it's kind of our kind of our
illegally.
fault though, because we caused the immigration system to be this like corrupt.
Well, our whole government's corrupt. We could make that argument if you want. I fully believe our whole government's corrupt to the core. I hate both sides. Both
Oh, yeah,
political parties right now.
I would agree with that. So my question would be, should we punish undocumented migrants who haven't committed a violent crime? Most of them do not have a violent criminal background. And in fact, you can actually look at the statistics from PNAS.org saying that undocumented migrants are more likely to commit crimes than natural-born U.S. citizens. So,
Well, I would argue was that per capita or what? Because honestly, like there's so much more of us, so of course we'd be more likely to commit crime because there's more physically of us. Like, do you see what I mean?
Okay.
If you're a natural born person here, of course there's gonna be a higher chance you commit the crime because there are more natural born persons here than there are illegal immigrants.
Okay. So I guess my question stems to this. Do you know why we have an undocumented migration issue?
Why we have one? Mainly because of the cartel crises down there. A lot of it can be due to that. The governments are pretty corrupt as well. A lot of them are kind of paid off or run by the cartels. So yeah, I would say a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
People come here for a quote unquote better opportunity.
What is the main reason as to why we have so many people who are undocumented?
Oh, well, it's very expensive. It's very expensive to come here, and I would obviously agree there needs to be reform.
The reason we have an undocumented migration issue is because we do not have enough ports of entry, so therefore we have a very inefficient way to process everyone. We don't have an efficient way to process everyone because we don't have enough ports of entry. We have around 387 ports of entry. I think the number should be about 1,000 at the very least.
Okay. It honestly, if I'm not mistaken, though, a large portion for why it takes so long to come here legally is not even due to our side; it's due to the courts on Mexico's side. Because you kind of have to have two governments talking to each other, and when one of your governments is much more efficient than the other one, issues arise. And keep in mind, our government's not very efficient. I'm not saying we're the best in the world at that, but I'm saying that compared to them, we have much better, more efficient, much more streamlined government systems overall.
Okay. Well, I have never heard in my life the immigration process literally having two governments work with each other. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just never heard that before.
They have to because of judges and stuff. So like if you come here legally, right, they do things such as like background checks and stuff. And for them to do that, they have to talk to judges in courts within Mexico locally.
So how do North Korean refugees work then?
North Korean refugees, well, that's a little bit different. With North Korean refugees, usually, if you want to go through the whole process, I can tell you the ways that they would escape North Korea. They usually go to like China, and then they sometimes.
Okay, so we agree that not all immigration involves both governments.
Well, you said undocumented. Well, those are what's the technical term for? I believe is asylum. They were refugees. Those aren't necessarily legal immigrants. Those are people that are claiming asylum. And they're coming here, which, by the way, is a little weird because technically there's rules to claim asylum, but I don't know. It's like a gray area nowadays, it feels like.
Okay. Last time I checked, most undocumented migrants, right, were seeking asylum. And again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case.
So they're seeking, So they're seeking asylum. The reason why is because they don't want to sit in line and come here legally. Because it's very hard to come here legally because a lot of people want to come here. So a lot of people want to come here, and you're right. There are probably not as many ports of entry as there should be. But the main issue, I don't even think is necessarily our side, as I said. It's the courts down there because you have background checks. You have they do all these different checks.
I believe the opposite. I think the problem is necessarily with us because have you heard of Ellis Island?
Yes,
they were really efficient in bringing immigrants. Why can't we have that? The immigration process at the moment is so slow. It is actually slower than my computer right now.
Well, because of the simple fact is this: not everyone should have. It's not a right to be able to come here. It's a privilege, right? It's a privilege to be able to move to another country legally.
Uh,
It is a privilege to go through that legally. The problem
last
is,
time I
is that if
checked,
our
that was
economy
literally
is gonna
against
mess
the
up-
United Nations
economy is gonna
human
mess-
list of human rights.
Well, if you want to go into the list of human rights thing, technically speaking, to claim asylum, it has to be in the first country that you can physically go to, right? Physically walk to. So that means that technically speaking, it has to be the first one that's safe that you can physically go to. So let's say you're in Afghanistan, right? You can't, for technical legal asylum by the rules that were originally given before they went to this gray area because of everything that's happening now. The rules were essentially you had to go from Afghanistan and go to the first safe country you find. If you proceed, you cannot pick and choose which safe country you want to go to. That was not how it was. And that's within like the rules of claiming asylum, essentially being an asylum refugee, right? So by that definition as well, nobody should be able to claim asylum unless you're from Canada or Mexico, because those are the only countries that border us. And nobody's claiming asylum from Canada, really. So sure, Mexico can, but then no other country should be able to.
What?
What do you mean what?
So you're
That was the
arguing
original
that
rules
if
of
a
claiming
country
asylum.
doesn't border another country, they can't the person from
That's in the rules of claiming asylum by the United Nations. There's rules to claiming asylum, being able to legally claim asylum under the United Nations umbrella. That's part of the rules. It has to be within it has to be the original rules. That has to be part of the first nation that you find that's safe to live in, right? So it's like if you claim in Syria, right, that you're in a dangerous area, you can't pick and choose to go to Ireland. You proceed to go to the first country that's bordering you that's safe. That's how.
Okay,
that's how
so
it works.
what if none of them are safe? Then what? They're just screwed?
So none of them are safe. You're telling me no? That's the thing, though. So let's say, for instance, you're in Syria, right? And all the countries that border you aren't safe, yeah? And they're all, and they have people fleeing the same way, and the United Nations designates that place as like, hey, if you're from here and you leave, you can claim asylum, right? Because we recognize the danger, we recognize what is happening,
Mhm.
right? Because you can't just claim whenever you want. It has to be recognized, yeah? So essentially, when in that case, what happens is you go past those and you go to one that is safe. The point is, though, that you can't pick and choose which safe one to go to. You go to the first available safe nation by distance. You can't pick and choose. Like if I'm in Syria, I can't pick and choose to go to Iceland. I can't pick and choose to go to Poland. I go to the first nation that's closest. That's not the United Nations is deemed a safe zone, if you get what I mean. By safe zone, I mean the people there can't claim refugee or asylum.
Okay. Well, the timer has run out. I actually think I might call it here for today. I feel like my debate performance was actually really lacking. I think I'm just tired. Yeah, I'm probably gonna call it here for today. Thank you for coming up, though. I hope you have a good day.
Absolutely. Have a good day, man.
Yeah, have a good day. And yeah, I'm just gonna call here. That was. It wasn't even bad because there was not many people. It was just bad because I was bad. I kind of lacked a lot, to be honest, today. That was not a great performance for me, admittedly. Like, I was fucking ass, bro. Alright, well, that's it. See you later.